Somebody save me. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Where's that from, Chris?
Not a clue, Tony.
It's from Smallville.
What?
It's from one of my favourite shows.
Sorry, it's a small world, do you mean?
No, Smallville. This
Smallville.
is the show where you see Superman when he was in high school.
Oh, I'm not interested in Superman, mate.
So you haven't seen Smallville?
I've never even heard of it, let alone seen it.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's one of my favourite theme tunes, and it's all about saving people. But it's also connected to our theme for this episode 33, which is National UK Savings Week.
National UK Savings Week. Well, Tony, before we even get onto that, I think it really is incumbent on us to talk about why we haven't been on air for the last few weeks. We have people coming in and just saying, guys, have you won it? Have you won it and gone away and not told us? But no, we didn't win it.
I was worried about people actually prying a bit because I said that I went on holiday and I went to Sardinia for a couple of weeks. But people were thinking that I had a mental breakdown.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you had.
I kind of did. But I think the Sardinian sand and sea really helped me kind of rethink about things and go, look, I haven't won the lottery, but that's okay. I'm still alive. I mean, the sun is shining. And I was just like...
And you can go back and watch Smallville anytime you want.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There was where I was staying in this beautiful olive farm.
Great place to recover from a mental breakdown.
Totally. And the thing is, there were like other couples. It's a great place when you're in your 30s to go because you meet other couples. And
where were they from? The couples?
Someone from the UK. So there's this person from the UK. They were helping us kind of pick all these organic vegetables. And I felt like I was in an M&S advert because we were just talking about, these vegetables. And
very wholesome.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. And then there's obviously some people there that were like, is this guy from the mafia? Or somehow, he seems very wealthy. This guy was called Vincenzo. He was obviously, he looked like a very kind of trimmed, well-kept Santa Claus type of thing, but with a short beard. So he was sitting there with a gold chain and he was Swiss. And he was literally speaking Italian, French, English, and he's been to that same place like 5 years in a row. So
Hang on a minute. What's his background?
I don't know. I didn't want to pry. I don't want to get too involved. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, man. But you seem like you're wealthy, but I don't want to kind of get too close.
You're independently wealthy, and I don't know why.
You know what, I should ask him, did you win the lottery? I'm just kidding. Actually, you might not be wealthy, but you know when you got some people got that air about them. They're like, you look affluent.
Do you promote the podcast when you're on holiday and you meet random people?
Actually, not on holiday, but I did speak to someone at an event, and when you start talking about yourselves, and this is a great thing about having a podcast, is that you sound a lot more interesting than other people. So I can speak to myself and go, yeah, I've got a podcast. Oh, what's it about? It's lottery. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, we just talk about lottery for like 33 episodes. But also the idea of like writing a novel, that type of thing. And that was something that I was really looking at with the time off, having different kind of creative projects is something that you're like, okay, we're taking a break from the podcast because of the mental breakdown. And Chris, what were you doing again?
I was visiting my grandma for 1 week. And I can't remember what was the one before. Oh, it was bank holiday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things is that we got to look at the priorities in life, really. It's like family first.
Well, I normally always say podcast first.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Family's got to be right up there. And there are certain times where we even have to prioritize our family above this pod.
Yeah. And one of the things is that sometimes when you step away from something, you come back with renewed appreciation.
Refreshed, reinvigorated, renewed vigor, Tony. Really.
Yeah. But talking about, family, and one of the things that we are really focused on is how do we take care of our family? Or are people taking care of their families? And what I mean by that is all about kind of financial security. And that comes with learning to save your money, which some people aren't very good at.
I see. So that was the link.
Yes.
That was the link from Superman. who saves people.
Yes.
I'm going to be honest.
Sorry, that was a bit far.
No, but Tony, I prefer Batman, if I'm honest.
You like the...
Okay, Bat, Spider, or Super?
I do like Batman because I do like the dark stuff. I know you really love the dark stuff. And but you know, obviously he's an orphan. Like his parents get murdered in front of him.
Very tough, difficult.
That is pretty harsh. But you know, Superman is just classic. Clark Kent is a bit annoying.
He's so boring, though, isn't he, Clark Kent?
Well, not unless he's put some kryptonite next to him and you start seeing him squirm. But yeah, I would say Batman is probably more my thing.
That's your top one, even above Catwoman.
Oh, actually, I like Spider. I still think Tobey Maguire's still OG Spider-Man. None of this Tom Holland stuff. I think.
So okay, who's your favourite? Come on, so it's Spider-Man.
It's hard to pick. It's like picking between your children. How would you?
That's all right. Yeah, everyone does that. They just don't admit it.
I would say Batman because he is probably more.
What? You can do all three of them now.
Yeah. No, I would say if I had to choose my favourite hero, I would have to go Batman. The reason why is that he's a lot more realistic because he's not a superhero. He's just a rich man that has all the gear and with some training. No, he doesn't turn into. You're thinking of Dracula.
No, I'm kidding. He's just
but your favourite is Batman.
Yeah, I guess so. Who else is out there? You're Batman, Spider-Man's nice.
You're Wonder Woman. You're a feminist.
No, Spider-Man just too much pity. He wants your pity, doesn't he? It's all that sob story and all that. Who else? Superman, boring. Who else is there?
Well, you can't say...
All the Marvel ones. I don't know.
Iron Man is pretty much Batman, but he doesn't...
Boring. Iron Man, boring. What else?
Well... I don't know if they're super. Would you say Thor's a superhero? Is he? He's a hero.
He's a legend of Greek mythology as well. And that's got to count for something.
But let's. Okay, if we just talk about Iron Man and Batman, this is something that is not relevant to them. About save. Well, they could save money. They don't need savings. They've got. Money
Batman doesn't need to save. No. Yeah.
So one of the things with the lottery, yes, that we wouldn't need to worry about savings as much as now, since we haven't won it.
But you'd still want to make your money work for you, Tony.
Yeah, and this is what we're going to kind of tackle more in our topic of the week, obviously. But top three things are place to live, house.
Yeah, get a roof over your head.
Christmas is a big thing that people talk about all the time, and generally just like rainy day funds.
So Christmas in terms of being able to spend on your loved ones.
Oh yeah,
put some turkey on the table and stuff like that.
Well, I was going to say charity, but we're thinking about saving money for yourself.
Oh, yeah. I'm not interested in giving my money away, Tony. What are you talking about? That's why I save. We'll get onto that later, because there are even more efficient ways to do it.
But just in the Christmas spirit, because when they run up to Christmas now, is that I do believe in the more you give, you should get in return through, is it karma? Or good luck.
Yeah. Karmic feedback. There's all kinds of things, and I genuinely believe you're right. The more love you give, the more you're going to get back. I think there's a hymn that I used to sing at school along those lines.
Yeah. Cool. So if we go into it's not last Saturday's lottery result. The jackpot was 7.2, so it was a triple roll.
I can't contain my excitement, Tony. I just can't even let you carry on. It's a quadruple rollover this Wednesday, am I right?
You are right. It's gone up to 8.7 million, and that is kind of obvious because we didn't win.
We never win, but the good news is that we are a year into this journey. I hate to say we're a year into this journey. It's flown by. And we're flipping it as a result. We're flipping the format a bit, and we're going for a different methodology to try and win it. But we'll come on to that later anyway.
All right, should I let them know?
In other words, go on then.
Okay, basically, we got tired. No, we didn't get tired, but I think there was too many poop stories about... there were a lot of poop stories.
There were.
It was, and robots and Bigfoots.
The idea was we were going to... summon it towards us.
Manifest.
Through manifestation.
Yeah.
By picking numbers that we'd seen in the week.
Yeah.
But by the end, the only thing we ever talked about, because I'm just constantly, I've got Google Alert for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And every other day, Lab Bible was pinging me with a story about Bigfoot. And then I got really excited, wrote it all down, did my notes. And then I saw they just copied something from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then for you, you've obviously got alerts for poop, and every other story is just poop. So we said, look, we're obviously not doing this in the right way. We're not manifesting it correctly.
I think it needs a break.
It needs a break.
But we discovered new fetishes, basically. You got a fetish for Bigfoot, and I've got a fetish for poop, basically.
And olives.
Did I talk about olives?
Olive farm.
Oh, yeah, from the side, the olive farm.
I like the way you say that. Did I reveal that?
Sometimes just, you don't need to say it. It's just your actions speak louder than words, right?
Yeah.
So it was 7.2 million. What were the winning numbers? So it was 5, 17, 26, 48, 49, 57, and bonus ball 56. Machine name Merlin, ball set 9. What were my numbers? So this has been the same numbers for a good few weeks, but we still bought them. But I did buy them for
even
for
when you were in Sardinia putting olives where the sun don't shine.
Well, I was putting them in my mouth. Yes.
Oh yes.
That's
It's not the only thing you were putting in your mouth.
Yeah, wine, pizza. So what were my
Swiss Italian man named Vincenzo.
Well, if the price is right, I mean, if you can make me a millionaire, that is one way of coming.
Exactly.
So the numbers were 7, 11, 15, 21, 28, 30. So those were my numbers. So sadly, no matches, but 0 winners of the jackpot. So it's a
quadruple rollover, £8.7 million. Look, we used to complain all the time when it was 4 million every single week.
Yeah.
I'd rather see it above 10 in those double figures, but 8.7, I'm certainly not going to complain, Tony.
I mean, I'll still be thinking about saving some of that, just so it makes it last.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I guess we can move on to, our listeners who've missed us for the last few weeks.
Listeners have. Well, I tell you what, it's gone a little bit nuts out there in the email.
Yeah.
Our mailbag, which is just flooded, which is ironic because there's a lot of floods overnight. But our mailbox is flooded. And people have just been asking, where are you?
Who's the most needy, Chris?
Lisa, 34. It's probably the most needy. She's emailed us, I would say, at least 6 times in her absence. And here's the one that we wanted to read out. So she sent lots asking where we are, but Lisa said, I wanted to let you know, I'm not completely happy with my own teeth. So I'm thinking if I should go to Turkey to get veneers, but I'm a bit afraid in the long term if I might regret it and completely ruin my own teeth. Love the show. Please could you get back to me and give me some advice? And that's Lisa, 34. Tony, what do you think about that?
I don't have personal experience of this, but I've seen videos online.
Of turkey teeth?
Yeah, and some of them, they look like they're in pain. It's actually affect their kind of well-being.
Yeah.
Because some of them, the veneers, if you get it done badly, because obviously they shave down your normal teeth, and then they put down this veneer thing, and sometimes they don't size it up right, and it starts being in pain, and you start getting infections and stuff like that.
It doesn't sound pleasant, does it?
Have you seen what it looks like? When they actually end up shaving down your teeth. So that essentially what they're doing is they're putting down, it's not a crown, it's a veneer over it. It's like a cap over your actual normal teeth.
It just doesn't sound right to me, Tony.
But the thing is that you don't just do it once and then it's over. You've got to, I think, look at it every 5 years. So it needs to be readjusted and stuff like that. And it looks fake as hell. Like no one has teeth that white.
Well, Jurgen Klopp.
But that's not, is that veneers?
Surely it's fake.
But it's done well.
They call him turkey teeth, don't they?
Oh, right. But he's got money. He's not going to Turkey.
He's not like Lisa, 34, is he?
But I think even like Jordan had him done on something. Jordan, page 3 Jordan. Was it Katie Price?
Oh, Katie Price.
Yeah.
What's happened with Katie Price? I saw that she was arrested or something.
Isn't she like bankrupt like again or something?
Oh, is she? Poor Harvey. I guess she's been spending all her money on looking after him.
Oh yeah, don't get me started with Harvey and Dwight. I mean, anyway.
The Dwight York thing, Peter Andre. We'll touch on that another day.
But yeah, I mean, would you get your teeth? I mean, I think our teeth are so.
Yeah, I think they're all right, and they're not the best, but I wouldn't feel the need to go out there and get them. And I never wore braces. Did you wear braces?
I thought I needed them. I didn't. Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think no problem at all.
Yeah.
When I first heard this phrase turkey teeth, I was like, what does that mean, turkey teeth?
Yeah.
I thought they were talking about the teeth on the animal.
Isn't that when you're telling fibs or something?
Is it? Is there actually a phrase?
Chickens. Is that chicken's teeth?
Turkey teeth. Put in turkey teeth.
Turkey teeth.
So you see yeah, because I was like, does that mean that they're bad teeth? Because turkey
Well, it's
teeth?
just on the you can get your hair done if you're bald as well. Or is that chicken teeth saying?
Must be,
So
yeah.
I need to,
but yeah, when I
curious.
first said it, I was like, this just makes no sense. And that is why it should be renamed to turkey teeth, just like the country has been. Hen's teeth.
Hen's teeth. That's sorry. That's
Rare.
Indian. Yeah. That's
So
true.
rare as it may not exist.
Well-
Scarce as hen's teeth.
But I suppose my opinion about turkey teeth is obviously you go in there with a risk. You could go for reviews and speak to people that actually done the procedure with a certain oral surgeon or whoever, the dentist who does it. But there are horror stories, and they have got to be aware of that. And
We have to be aware of them.
and whether it depends how much money you've saved up to do it. Whether you go for the, let's be honest, do you go for the dirt cheap person or the really high? But you kind of want to go somewhere in the middle, right?
May I ask how much it costs?
No idea. But should we have a look? Turkey
Yeah.
teeth.
Because I think this is a really important part of the decision.
How much?
Oh. Okay.
Oh well, this
Okay,
already.
full set of veneers, 3,000 to 6,000. Per tooth, 140 to 300.
I'm guessing that's quite cheap.
Yeah.
Consider
yeah.
well, how much? Okay, let's see. Veneer mouth full price.
So if we're in the UK, wow, up to 10 grand. But it's not actually that
much
much cheaper.
You know what?
But I
think
guess you get a holiday out in Turkey as well.
all inclusive as well.
All
isn't it?
inclusive, yeah.
So should we tell her to do it or not? I mean, if it's an investment in your
You need to show us your teeth, Lisa.
yeah.
You may be wrongly upset with your teeth. It may not be the tooth.
Maybe it's sometimes people have this body dysmorphia type thing when I think it's not. You know, it's fine. It's actually natural to have slightly yellow teeth. That is natural.
It is.
Rather
and
than
it's
the white, it's
wrong
actually
to be
fake.
completely white.
So she could be better off be saving that $3,000 for something else.
So, Lisa, your fears may not be the tooth, the whole tooth, and nothing but the tooth.
Yeah, yes. I wanted to do another because you remind me of in Parliament when someone was making a load of little
One-liners.
one-liners about teeth.
Oh,
He just
really?
getting to the root of it. Yeah.
Nice.
And then there's another one. It was kind of like I can't think off the top of my head. There was a really good one. I want to look at it. I think it was a Labour MP who was talking about it. And you know how they do when they're in Parliament, they start moaning, but in a good way. Oh, it was really good.
I love that.
Right. So that's Lisa. So that's one and done.
One and done. Just to say that if you do want to get in touch with us, please do so. You can email us on...
tony.win.lotto@gmail.com.
You can follow us and DM us on Instagram, Win Me the Lottery.
Yep.
You can follow us
On TikTok,
on TikTok,
Win Me the Lottery.
Win Me the Lottery, and you can follow us on YouTube,
Oh yes, of course.
Win Me the Lottery, but you cannot.
It's
DM
OnlyFans
us.
set up yet? No.
The OnlyFans got rejected, actually. It was too
right.
graphic.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, Tony, I think it's time to move on to our topic of the week, which this week is UK Savings Week.
Yeah, so when I first saw this, so let's remind people, UK Savings Week is in the month of September. So
Yeah.
we're in still September.
Yeah.
And I would say it's all year round, like most things. UK Savings Week, why is it just a week?
There's a week for everything. There's
Yeah.
a day for everything. It's just gone way out of control. But it's good that it brings it to our awareness because, as you said, it's not just for a day. It's not just for a week. It's forever. It's
100%.
savings.
Some people might need to kick up the backside. So it ran from the 9th to the 15th of September. And, you know, I mean, let me go to the website and let's really get to the root of it.
Get to the nub, the root of it, the nub of it.
So look, it's quite a, you know, a decent looking. Oh, look at this.
It's a sexy website. Yeah.
Yeah, savings. You know, they say savings. They're what you make of them.
Sounds like it's a pun, but it's not really, is it?
Yeah. Whether you're saving as a safety net or a trampoline.
Nice. I like that one.
Why a trampoline though? Oh, okay. A just-in-case account or a trip of a lifetime account. Your savings are what you make of them, which is true.
There's quite a copy on here.
It's good to save. But I guess with this is that, do we need a week dedicated to this? I think, why not? Because it is an important thing. Let's be honest, our people live in paycheck to paycheck and they can't get out of that kind of pattern. Of just like, every month goes by and they're like, I just can't save for a rainy day fund, or they get in a bit of a hole come Christmas.
Yeah.
Or, you know, we can explore all these things, like how do people save for holidays? They set up another account where they chuck in 10, 20 quid a month just to get that kind of savings.
It's maybe a question of, are you going to go down to the local corner shop tonight and buy a 4-pack of Budweiser? Or, who knows, maybe I can put that £7 in my savings account.
Yeah. I think just buy one bud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, you know, I think a lot of, you know, being good with money and savings, it really comes down to, it's not really much, I mean, it is how much you earn. I think it helps if you earn quite a lot. But a lot of the time it's habitual. It's habits. And they've done studies on this.
And you know, because it's one of those things of, somebody taught me good advice when I was much earlier in my career and not earning that much. My boss at the time, she said, you know what I did? She said, as I've been promoted and progressed, I try to, every additional amount of money that she was making, she said, I just save it. So I try and live, and obviously as you progress, you're not going to be able to do that. But she was saying, I try and live on the same budget as I move forward.
Creep.
Yeah.
Let's call it lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle creep. So that's what she's avoiding.
And that, to be fair, I mean, that is the way to do it. And obviously, you've got to enjoy some things in life.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Tony.
I mean, Sardinia wasn't free, was it?
No, no, that olive farm. But I think Vincenzo paid for most of it, didn't he?
I wish I kept his, you know, I wish I added him on LinkedIn, see what he did. I was genuinely curious. I don't think he is. He was just
they do say Italian sausage is the best.
But he was Swiss.
Oh, Swiss Italian sausage. Yeah.
Actually, because Switzerland's in between the area of where you can speak Italian, French.
Yeah, they have all of them. They have German, French, Italian. They have a Romano part, or something, some sort of thing that I don't know.
Is it me that do most people? You know, they have a look. Swiss people just look rich.
Yeah,
but it might not be.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
just
stink of money.
They just look rich.
I bet they don't have any problem with savings.
Probably not. I don't know.
No, they don't, Tony. They don't.
I mean, he's been to that place. I mean, we didn't stay in a very expensive place. It wasn't that expensive. It was out in the sticks. Well, it was in the farm, but it was a 45-minute drive from the airport.
Which one? Zurich?
No. I went to Sardinia.
Sorry, Sardinia.
In Sardinia, this is where we met them, and he had a certain gravitas towards.
You know,
like a charmingness that is just confidence, and he wasn't intimidating whatsoever. But he would just be like,
there was just something quite sexy about him, right?
You know, I could see why. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, but I'm like, I can imagine him having a bit on the side if he wanted. You know, I'm just saying, like, there's something about him. I was trying to eavesdrop on a conversation he was having near the pool, and he's like, yeah, and he's just laughing. And I swear he's speaking like 3 different languages in between. But anyhow, one of the interesting things when it comes to savings is that, yes, you can have a habit, but we're getting kicked in the arse here. And you know what I'm going to say, right?
Go on.
Inflation. Cost of living.
We've talked about it on the show before. It has been the silent killer. Not even that silent, because people have been talking about it, but
yeah.
I think it's quite easy not to really appreciate the impact of it unless you zoom out, because people were talking about, okay, it was 7%, it was 11%.
Yeah.
But Tony, there was high inflation for 4 years. So what was the impact of it over those 4 years from COVID?
Well, people were going on about inflation like being under 3% or whatever, a few months ago. And it depends when you're measuring it from. Like from 12 months ago, yeah, it has been. But people aren't moaning about that. They're moaning about 2020.
Yeah.
From that point, it's actually up, and you've been saying this before, 20%.
20% in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And, and the thing is, I'm not being funny. I was talking to some people a few months ago who said, inflation's coming down now, it's come right down, 2%, whatever, 3%. Yeah. And then I asked them, well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Do you think it's actually, prices are going down? Yeah, they're going down.
From 12 months.
They're not going down, they're up 2%.
Yeah.
And if you go back in the last 4 years, it's 20%.
Yeah. So it depends where you're measuring it from. But I think this is where, I think it was Sky News when they're going on, but they said people aren't moaning about this bit here. They're moaning about the bit from post-COVID.
From 2020 to 2023 or whatever.
And the wages haven't caught up. This is the issue here. So in a way, it's a tall order to save, right? Especially when everything's going up. But I think it's, with the UK Savings Week, their whole kind of mission really is to raise awareness and going, look, just get started, how do you, is really up to you as an individual, or, if you're head of the household or you're single, it's about, you've got to really take it upon yourselves to be a saver, and think about consciously about your finances. Because when we look about when we were younger, if you can instill that in young people and get that habit started, for example, if I look back at my 20s and go, was it a good idea for me to go out in the lash and spend crazy amounts at a club?
Yes.
And to a certain degree,
Tony,
but not every week.
Hell yes, baby.
But so let's go through this graph here. Look, take some time to think about your finances. Look at your money, need versus want.
That's a very good one.
Do you really need it, or do you just want it?
And I think you can just challenge yourself every single time. It's like, right, I'm going to order a KFC tonight.
Yeah.
Do you need that, or do you want it? Is it going to be good in terms of the calories? Is it going to be good in terms of the price?
Yeah.
No. Why don't you make yourself something healthy?
True. It's needs and wants is recategorizing in your head and being mature enough to go, actually, this isn't good for my health and not good for my back pocket. Okay, what does working harder mean? Is that?
Are you earning enough interest? And we're going to touch on this in a moment.
You're the expert.
Ties into inflation.
You're the expert. What's going for emergency? Again, wouldn't you feel better if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're like, I think they did a study in America, and I think some of it applies to the UK where, the study was in America where they go, if you had a $500 emergency, could you cover it? And I think there was some crazy stat where 60% of Americans couldn't cover a £500 cost. So, for example, cars are big, they like to cover your car breaking down or stuff like that. Not like they couldn't get the money, they would have to go into debt or use their credit card for it.
Which is the last thing.
But they don't have the actual cash ready to go because, whether it's lifestyle, how Americans are. Oh, got to get the house that I really want with the garden, even though I'm slightly, really stretching myself to really afford it. Got to have the 2 cars, got to go to, eat out. I've got to go and keep up with the Jonases, got to get the latest iPhone, insurance, all these very taxes, tipping, it all adds up.
It's just a country where they don't stop shopping, Tony.
Yeah, and it's great. If you can afford it.
No matter how the economy is out there in the United States, they don't stop shopping.
Yeah. I just said if you can afford it, but they can't afford it. They're just putting it on the card.
Yeah. So you get into that cycle.
What are your thoughts in kind of saving in general? Personally, Chris. When did you become conscious on really start
saving money?
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good question. I think I've always tried to save a little bit of money, Tony. Going back, I think actually, if I now remember, I think I was even putting a little bit in there, before uni and stuff, just in a little kids one. Or my dad, my parents were doing it for me.
Yeah.
I remember going down when my dad opened the account. But in uni, obviously you get your student loan, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And in the end, I got a bank account with an overdraft.
Okay.
And I made use of that. And it was, there's no interest. It's an interest-free overdraft.
Oh, okay.
Then I went out to Thailand. I taught for a couple of years out there. Saved up quite a bit of, not that much cash, but, you saved up a bit, came back. Only then did I pay off the overdraft, I think, because it just stayed open. And it was only then where I started, probably it was a few months into my first job. The first 3 months internship, not paid much at all. And from then on, I always tried. Maybe I started 100 quid a month or something.
That's great.
And that's just, you set yourself a target, Tony.
So that's quite a smart move that, you're like, I love Thailand. I could work here and I'm guessing you taught English, right? They paid relatively well compared to some other jobs.
Yeah.
Okay, considering.
In the labour market in Thailand, I think it's quite well paid. Yeah.
And then, cost of living's lower. So therefore you could save and have a good time and experience as well. So it was a smart financial decision as well as just like a growth type thing.
Well, I guess you could say I'm a smart guy.
Yeah, you could do. But then again, there's a danger of getting kind of, I guess,
carried away. I mean, there are attractions.
There are temptations there. I can imagine.
Yeah.
What are some of the
Chang beer,
the food,
brilliant food. But mind you, a meal at that time was about £1.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could have
sometimes even less, Tony.
So you could put on a lot of weight by having too many meals, I guess. In Thailand. What else?
True.
Fruit markets and stuff like that. So, but you managed to differentiate that. You're like, I need food. It's only £1, so therefore I'm happy to spend it.
Yep.
I want a hand job, but I don't need it. So therefore you're like, no, I'm not going to spend
I know
that
you're
money.
wrong. I did need it. I'm kidding. What about you, Tony? Then when did you start?
I think one of the things, so I was being completely honest, like I think there was an element. When you're a kid, you see those shows where they got the that clay piggy and they put the money in and they smash it and then they get the cash.
Yeah, boom. Yeah.
There was some bits where you put money in and then you end up taking it out for whatever, So there is that, I was aware of it. And then I think, similar to you, it's like, when you're very early in your career, because I graduated I'm giving away my age.
1980.
Yeah, that's when I was born. But like, in the financial crash in 2008, you come into the market there where you're like, I'm not really getting my foot up anywhere, like in terms of a career ladder. I'm like working in the cinema. It's just minimum wage, isn't it? So you're like, okay, you're doing this job, so you're not really putting a lot away, and then you do the internship, and you're getting paid, was it $500 a month, which is something compared to at the time, they didn't have to pay you, not like now. But then you get into that kind of mentality where you start going, actually, I'm a bit concerned here, where what the future, what's going to happen, where you're like, I need to start putting something away so it can build up. But I wasn't as conscious of it. I wish someone would have sat me down at school and go...
And told you this.
So that's why I don't mind speaking to young people. I go, look, are you saving your money?
Is that the only reason you like speaking to young people?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But this is what we're going to touch on, Tony, of what is the smartest way? Because you were talking about inflation, right? So inflation, 20% in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, what if I told you that if you put £100 under your bed in 2020,
okay,
it'd still be worth £100, but your buying power as a result of that high inflation has decreased. That £100 should now be worth £120. So you've lost 20 quid. You're down to 80 in effect.
Yeah.
And so I just think to myself, and this is something I got into maybe, I was quite lucky in a way, probably 26, 27, when they introduced that lifetime ISA.
Okay.
Do you remember that? I don't know if it's still around.
It's you get you put in $4,000 max, isn't it?
Yeah. $4,000 a year, and they'll give you 25% top up. And you could open a stocks and shares lifetime ISA. And so I've been talking about it. I said, right, I might look into investing then instead. Now, if I were to tell you the stats in regards to the returns that you could get. So, let's say back in 2004, we put £10,000 into various different places, right? And we keep it there for 15 years. So, how do you put it in an average high street UK savings account, that £10,000 15 years later would actually be worth just under £10,000 in real terms. So again, I'm talking about real returns after the impact of inflation. UK bonds, had you put it £10,000 in 2004 into UK bonds, 15 years later it'd be worth just under 15k.
Okay.
Had you put a 50-50 portfolio, so your £10,000 into a 50-50 portfolio, which is 50% bonds, 50% stocks,
Yeah.
15 years later, it'd be worth just under 20 grand. If you put it into global stocks, 10 grand into global stocks, a world index fund or global ETF, it would be worth over £25,000. Remember, not always the case. There's volatility in stock markets. You're going to have the rough with the smooth.
Yeah.
But over time, it does tend to get you better results. And when you think about it, Tony, let me ask you a question. Is the global economy going to improve on average over the long term?
100%. It's only up from here. There'll be bumps along the way.
There'll be bumps. If so, will the biggest companies in the world benefit from that?
Well,
the biggest companies in the world.
Well, the thing is, when you just said that, I immediately thought about what were the biggest companies, say, 50 years ago. They might not be around to be like, what are the biggest companies now?
But this is why the way I say it is very important, because a global ETF will adjust its shareholdings based on who the biggest...
Yeah, so it's a basket of the biggest companies, isn't it?
So, precisely.
So yeah, I would say... It would always continue to grow.
That's just we're not experts.
Yeah.
We're not financial advisors.
And if it's not, and it all goes to hell, there's bigger things to worry about. Right?
Exactly.
It's the end of the world type of scenario.
Yeah.
If everything's going down, it's not recovering.
And I think it's an important point within that, though, Tony, was savings rates for major banks, at least, tend to be lower than inflation.
Yes.
We see that. I think we're in a bit of a rare situation now where inflation has come down, but they're keeping the rates a bit higher just to ensure it doesn't get worse again. But typically, the bank rate is set, and actually savings rates will be worse than the bank rate, and therefore inflation is actually going to outstrip savings rates. And what that means is what I was just saying. If you put and I'm not dissuading anyone, if you put the cash under your bed, it's going to decline more than any other method apart from gambling the money away.
Yeah.
Or losing it through other means. If you put it in a savings account, you're also losing real value of your money unless you find a savings account that offers a rate above inflation.
Yeah. And you probably can't access it.
And you can't access it, and so investing is something to consider, Tony. And there's other ways you can invest, but yeah.
I think this is where we're heading towards. Essentially, what we're trying to say is that you want to get to a position, and I'm just going from Dave Ramsey, where saving is the very start of
your journey.
So you want to save, and he starts off saving £1,000 and then save 3 months emergency fund.
Yeah.
And then you start looking at paying down your debts if you do have any, and then start investing. Yeah, it's all about the investing because, like you said, there's no better place for your money because otherwise you're losing money if it's sitting under your bed, right?
Yep.
And investing in, and you don't need to pick individual stocks or go crazy.
No.
You don't need to be a trader. You go, look, let's put it in a diversified account.
Yeah.
And then you just sit and wait. And the beauty of this, like you said, when you look at the whole time frame of money grows over time, is that if you know this when you're quite young, you just turn 20. Imagine
compound interest.
The compound for when you go into your 40s and, deposit, all that type of thing is going to really help you rather than spaffing it on Pokemon cards or whatever.
It's so
even though that could be a good investment, I don't know, yeah.
So they say, when's a good day, when's the best time to start investing? Yesterday.
Yeah.
And the sooner you can do it, the better. But if you haven't done it yet, do it today.
Yeah.
You can start from as little as £1.
Yeah.
But it's that compound interest thing which actually really multiplies it over time, especially with the impact of dividends.
Yeah.
You'll be paid dividends through your global ETF or the stocks that you own. That gets reinvested back in. You suddenly have more shares, and that compound What is it, Tony? What's the fact? How many times do you have to fold, if it were possible, a piece of A4 paper to reach the moon? That's compound returns.
So like 32 or something. No.
Something like that.
There was something you can't fold a piece of paper 8 times evenly.
Yeah, you can't.
But
if
it
you
was
could-
a crazy. I know it's still a highish number. It was a crazy. Well, it was kind of low to reach the bloody moon. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's it. So I mean, National Savings Week. Go screw yourself. I'm waiting for National Investing Week, but as you say, there's that sort of flow chart, isn't there, where you start with saving at all, then you get to your sort of rainy day, your emergency fund, then you get to regular savings.
They got like the spend challenge.
Try and do a whole month without spending anything.
Yeah, you know, some people fast fashion. I understand it, but I'm just like some people just buy crap for the sake of it.
You're right, yeah.
And, you know, because they want to stay on trend, and it's a load of crap anyway. Takeaways, you know, I'm guilty of that. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, if you bulk cook your food and just you have that food prepared, again, it's habits. If you have that food prepared in your fridge and you start, the pangs of hunger is what really kind of entices you to get a takeaway. Oh, I'm really hungry right now. If the food's there, you eat it.
And you just eat it straight away.
Yeah, you're kind of satisfied.
Quite like their website in a way. I think they could do with a little bit of organic content help, which maybe we could provide. Yeah, this is another one, Tony. Change skimming, which is the roundups.
Yes.
I was doing that for a while. I've forgotten about that. Where, you know, if you spend £2.75, it saves 25p for you automatically.
Yeah. You get a little bit of interest on it. Some banks do that, don't they?
Chase have that. But yeah, I must say, the website's good. uksavingsweek.co.uk.
I would say,
I like this, Tony.
I think there's lots of helpful resources within this website. So if you're listening and you're like, damn, I need to get onto the savings thing, I feel a bit overwhelmed, what's the approach? I mean, this is the site to go to. And even if you're not you're not from the UK, actually maybe, no, it should work still, right?
Yeah, you can apply the same things. But, you know, there's other ways to make money. We were talking about it earlier, weren't we, of switching your bank account.
Oh,
Yeah, you can make-
I haven't even done that before.
Yeah, you can make 200 quid or 150 quid or whatever, just move your current account. But what you could do is start off with a digital bank like Monzo, which I think is actually really good. But it's free to open, it's simple, it's all on an app. And I think there's a higher sort of acceptance rate on Monzo. Open that as a second
100%.
account and just transfer it. And then you just keep going from offer to offer. The next thing you know, you might have made £1,000 in a year.
That's,
Just off that. It's a little bit of work, but surely worth it.
yeah, it's free money on the table. And another thing, you know, hopefully we've kind of gotten people interested in that. Some people might just have a current account, which your interest rates are not going to be high on those. Open up a savings account.
Heavens above.
You'll get more interest. I mean, most likely it depends who you bank with. And then you get into that mode where, you know, when you do get paid, you put a portion straight into savings and you just say, that's all I've got to work with. And then end up switching accounts as well afterwards.
Absolutely.
Right. I feel like we've really given back to the people.
Look, we do what we can, Tony.
Yeah.
We do what we can, and we are quite patently doing this in order to get good karma for
win the
next week's
lottery.
number.
Yeah, 100%. Right, so if we move on to segment 3, which is picking next week's numbers.
So we flipped it up, Tony. Do you want to tell them again?
So, naturally, we haven't won the lottery yet.
It's disgusting.
So, we have to change up. We're going to, instead of picking those numbers through the news stories, and some of those news stories aren't the most positive things, maybe that's the reason. There might be a little bit negative, so there might be some negative energy with that.
Well, it all started with Daniel Khalif, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Khalif all that way back. You know,
Phil
we've been
Schofield,
through Philip
Hugh
Schofield,
Edwards.
Hugh Edwards, Bigfoot, Epstein, you know, the dark secrets of the rich. I think we should do that one again when it gets to Halloween.
Yes.
That was a great
yes.
one. Dark
You know what you just reminded me of? Remember the Prince Andrew interview? They've got on Amazon Prime, they've got a series based on the Prince Andrew interview.
Oh, yes.
I started watching it on the weekend. Martin Sheen plays
You know what? Is it,
Prince Andrew.
I,
You got Prime. You could check it out.
no, I've just, I swear, was it One or multiple?
So there's 3. I believe there's 3 episodes.
Oh, well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure I watched this, but I don't think it was on Amazon Prime. Are there 2? Is there one on Netflix as well?
I don't know, but this is the late. This is really new. So it just
watched
come
it
out a few
earlier
days.
this year. Oh,
Yeah.
a few days ago.
Yeah. So check it out.
Okay.
Amazon Prime. Look, you could say, and I think it's what do you call it? Amazon Prince Andrew.
But that is a bit weird because I literally watched one, and I think that you talked about it.
So this is very new. So
A very royal scandal.
So it just came out. Well, mate, when did it come out actually?
I know the one that I watched, 19th of September. It says
Okay.
the one that I watched had Gillian Anderson as Emily Maitlis.
Was she good?
I do quite like Gillian Anderson,
Yeah.
but it just didn't work because whenever Gillian Anderson is on a show,
Yeah.
I just think of Gillian Anderson.
You think of Scully?
Yeah, and so
Was that Mulder?
it just wasn't anything like Emily Maitlis. So it
She
wasn't
is
really
quite. I
like-
don't know her name, but she
plays
does,
it well.
She does do the try to get that quite deep voice
Yeah.
of hers. So it was quite good.
Yeah, I'll check that out, Tony.
But yeah, Prince Andrew. All these aren't very positive characters,
I'm
are
just
they?
so confused how they done 2 in a year. So let's see, Netflix. There was a Netflix one. Yeah, that one says Scoop. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. So it's slightly different. It was an insider account of how the women of Newsnight secured.
They do a bit of that as well. So
yeah.
there's a bit of a lead up to it.
Okay, fair enough. But anyway.
So we'll have to watch. I need to finish it actually.
Oh.
So what is the new form? Well, the new format for now of what we're doing is that we're just gonna leave it up to the gods.
Yeah.
I'm literally gonna buy a lucky dip right now.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But before I do that, Chris, I need you to speak to the gods, or just kind of.
Tony, you're trying to trick me again. You know, we talked about this on this show before. Tony's found God lately or whatever. And he just keeps trying to get me to be part of it. You know, our mate, our good old mate has started a godly channel on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll do a bit of it. Look, Almighty Lord, please bestow upon us the riches of yourself. Lots of gold and lots of cash dollar, baby.
And I would like to ditto that.
Nice.
So I think you sold it. I feel the energy. I feel the room just change.
I just felt the room shake a little bit. And a clap of thunder.
So I've got to be careful. So we could buy Wednesday's one.
Yes,
Or
Tony.
Should we
Let's
buy
do Wednesday. Yeah.
Should we just change it up completely? Okay.
We just change it out. It's Wednesday now because
Okay.
it's an 8.7 million.
So I'm choosing 1 week. Lucky dip.
Lucky dip. Okay, it's just
So
saying LD, so we need to play before we can see what it is.
So it's £2. Okay.
Confirm your ticket.
So this is be for the 25th of September.
Yeah.
For 1 week.
Okay, buy now. Okay, view ticket. Let's see. And Tony,
Okay.
the numbers bestowed upon us by the Lord God Almighty are
10, 14, 23, 34, 46, 52.
nice spread.
I think those look quite good actually. I don't know what you.
Nice spread. I am praying to the Lord Almighty, but I've just got a sneaky suspicion we're going to be millionaires in 48 hours' time.
You know what? This is probably we never did the Wednesday. Maybe that was something we missed.
Foolishness. Because it then took another week,
Yeah.
and yet we'd been manifesting it the previous week.
Yeah. I think,
Idiocy.
okay, now we've addressed it. Let's see. Okay, we'll have to talk about. So how would we do? We talk about the Wednesday draw on the next.
I'm just so angry with myself. I can't believe I could have allowed that to happen.
Okay, so now that we've picked the lottery numbers, we don't want to. We don't want to end it there.
No.
Before we just add a bit more spice to the segment where.
Because we had a great topic of the week 1 week, didn't we? Which was, would you rather blah, 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 blah.
I think it'll be quite interesting. So we're gonna
We're going to take it in turns. So
Yes.
you're asking me this week. I'm going to ask you next week.
All right. Okay. So, would you rather? Okay, this question of would you rather isn't actually from my creativity. It's actually from Reddit. So I'm going to come clean on this one.
Hey.
And this is the question. Are you ready for this, Chris?
Yep. I'm listening. Eyes shut.
So, actually, it's not that explicit. It's just funny, but I'll read it. Chris, would you rather have £100 appear in your pocket every time you put a finger in your butthole for 6 seconds at a time?
My finger.
Yes.
Okay.
Or your finger. It could be any finger. No,
Yeah.
let's do the biggest one. Or one time only take 500k tax-free up front. So let me repeat the question.
Sorry, is this a trick question?
Now this is the question. So would you rather have £100 appear in your pocket every time you put a finger in your butthole for 6 seconds at a time? Or would you rather have a one-time only take 500k tax-free up front?
Well, Tony,
What's your
just
instincts?
double the fun. £100 every 6 seconds. And okay, so every time you put it up there for 6 seconds.
Yeah, so you can't just go in and out. You've got to put your finger up there for 6 seconds.
6 seconds in your Okay, but let's do some maths on this. So how long of a break do you think you'd need in between?
Well, I think it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
So,
Can you get somebody else to do it for you?
no, it has to be your...
It has to be yourself.
Actually, it just says you put a finger in your butthole.
So I'm just trying to think. So let's say, like, even if you just did it every minute for an hour
Yeah.
and you take a break, you get 60 times 100,
Yeah.
which is 6,000. But you'd have to really...
So you're
Let's say
saying...
you do that 8 hours a day.
So,
That's what you do.
but obviously you've got a job, so you're saying you're on your lunch break. you're saying you've got an hour, so let's work this out. So 6
Okay,
seconds...
okay, it's fine. You just do 6,000 a day. So all you do is 6,000 a day.
No, it's
No, it's 1 hour. So you do it every minute for the hour. So it's 60 times 100. That's
right.
£6,000. And then
That's not bad
6,000
for an
times 5,
Yeah.
30 grand a week.
Okay, so are you opting... Which option are you
I'm
opting?
going for the £100. What about you? What would you do?
Well, naturally, I think it's something when you first hear the question, you're like, I'm not sure if I want to do that. And some men might be a little bit going like, oh, I don't really want to put a finger up
Once
there.
they try.
Yeah. I think when you have a certain disposition, maybe you'll be like, you do that anyway, so you're just getting paid.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So let's go to Reddit because they've really thought about this.
He says, I say on Reddit, can be anybody's finger.
Okay, it can be anyone's.
Hang on, Tony. Big knuckle deep. We didn't know that. We didn't know that.
Does it really change things?
I don't know. Anyway, somebody's done the maths. 500,000 divided by 100 equals 5,000 butt fingerings. 10 per minute at peak efficiency is $1,000. $60,000 for an hour with a finger up your bum. This would take around 8 hours and 20 minutes to get your 500k in one go. I'll probably take the finger. I'm not even going to work out this maths, but that seems off.
Do you reckon?
8 hours, 20... Oh, so it's just non-stop.
Non-stop every 6 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's
I love this.
tough though, isn't it?
I love this comment here. It says, "That's $1,000 per minute. Looks like I found my new kink." I mean, who wouldn't want to do that?
It's like you and olives.
Yeah. Is that a joke on someone putting like olives in their butt?
I'm sure it's happened.
Okay, this is a bit tongue-in-cheek question, but I think we could go quite extreme in this. It's like I think there have to be. This is quite an easy one. It's not a lot of debate on this.
Yeah.
I mean, who could you imagine saying no? I'll just take the 500k. I mean, I'm just trying
It's
to
the
think.
easy one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like you just take 2 weeks off work.
Knuckle deep.
I mean, that's not
That's
not bad, really.
knuckle deep.
I mean,
500k tax free. That's not bad either. It's just easy. You just got it. Put it out of your head. Forget you ever had the option.
that could be. I mean, that's you're printing money for life. Then, it doesn't say there's an end date to this. So that's
And
interesting.
you're just like ravaging yourself every.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you put Vaseline, I mean, you're not going to do any damage as long as you're Vaseline. I'm sure your body will get quite used to it. But yeah, now you. Okay. I think I'm just going through all the comments and everyone's saying the finger. So I think this is a bit of a redundant question, to be honest.
It's clear.
Well, I guess that brings us to the end, Chris. So,
It's good to be back.
I think it's good to change things up.
Yeah. Well, when you fail as miserably as we have over this last year in terms of winning this damn thing,
Yeah.
you have to change things up.
Yeah.
You have to.
And I think the finger in your butt has put, maybe a pep in your step type of thing. That was the case.
Quite literally.
But again, it's like we're looking for answers and inspiration from all
In
places.
unusual places, yeah. But it would be remiss of me not to ask you what you thought about the Arsenal game. Speaking of arses, yesterday.
Well, this is one of the things is that for those that haven't seen the game, I think I just can't take the corruption anymore. And the thing is, it just reminds me, we're a part of this.
Do you think Trossard was paid off to do something that stupid? Is that what you mean?
No, I think the corruption is that the whole, referee, what's it called, the Premier League referee system, whatever. There's corruption involved in this. And the thing is, we talk a lot about money on the show, and sadly, money makes the world go round. Money influences decisions and how things play out in all walks of life, really. So
is it UAE? Who is it who owns City again? UAE or Qatar?
I think
Saudi.
Is it not Saudi?
No.
I get sometimes I use it interchangeably. Really.
Yeah.
But you say UAE, should we just Google this?
Yeah, I can't remember. Is it or Abu Dhabi? Abu Dhabi, it might be actually.
Man City.
Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi
United Group. But what's his face? Referee Oliver.
Michael Oliver. Right, here we go. Reddit says Michael Oliver is an employee of Man City's owners.
So apparently, I haven't looked at the sources, but he did go to referee a lot of their matches privately as well. And I think he got paid 20 grand a game, which is quite a lot, I think, than usual that they get. For 90 minutes, it's quite a lot.
It's certainly not bad.
Yeah.
But do you think, does this really, we're having to call his integrity into question here. Now, would you take 10 grand to go and do your job, in a midsummer break? Somewhere else?
Let's be honest. They say they always go letter of the law when it comes to a decision. People have done studies about how quick did Trossard kick the ball, and I think they put they did it frame by frame. It's just like you could be a little bit lenient. The cases, not docu earlier for he did kick the ball, but then you looked at the Brighton game, João Pedro, he blasted the ball, he didn't get yellow.
But I believe it wasn't out of play. Listen, look, I think it was a bit unfair.
Yes.
But at the same time, you can't, listen, it's totally up to you. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Can we really say he's corrupt based on that? Because I think he could have gone either. He could have gone either way. He could have been lenient, I think, and just let it slide, and no one would have complained. But by the letter of the law, you're probably right. I don't know.
VAR didn't. They reviewed Haaland throwing the ball at the back of.
Well, that's true. I said to you earlier that is dangerous.
That is dangerous play.
Yeah. It's his head. That's the back of his head.
Yeah, and he's ruined the game with that, and that goes back to my other point that they were saying is that the season before when Arsenal played Man City, when Kovacic did the really bad tackle, he didn't get red carded because they didn't want to ruin the game. Well, I guess we'll leave it as that. At least we didn't lose, and we stayed strong for 10 men for most of the second half.
But what I didn't realise is you're actually 2 points below them until after the game, so that's quite frustrating that they've already stolen a march. You would have been top.
Yeah, and they would have got their first loss as well.
You're only 1 point above us.
Yeah. And you lost the game, didn't you?
No comment.
Yeah. Yes, it's kind of weird. Draws aren't that great either, really. It's just a point.
No.
But anyhow, hopefully next week we shall have a better result.
We will. I'm certain of that.
So that brings us to the end. See you next week, I hope. Or see you on the next episode of
Win Me the Lottery.
Goodbye.
Ciao, ciao.